What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com. Go ahead and let the dogs out. Who let the dogs? I'm going to tell you who let the dogs out. These damn coaches wasting their time showing their kids, hey, come here, Blaze. Blaze, come here. Oh, there you go. How you doing? So, Blaze, what do you think about Olympic lifting for athletes? Well, I think it's a waste of time.
I'm
Blaze,
sorry.
it's not a waste of time.
We hurt some
It's
people's
a misallocation of resources and time. When you train kids, you have about an hour a day.
Yep.
Okay. You usually have hour sessions. Some Exos does 90 minutes, I believe. But most facilities, I don't think you need 90 minutes. But they only do that when they have a skill involved. So if they're coaching a soccer team, they have a soccer session of that.
Yes.
They put the sport skill in there. But for coaches like us who coach multiple sports, because that you don't need to. The sport-specific training is practice. It's not what we do. We make you better at that. Okay, whatever. So we're talking about local high schools. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think they need help. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're bad. They have the best intentions. They want to win. That's one thing we know. But I think they need some help in their programming because they're doing stuff that I believe is not a waste, but I believe is a misallocation of resources and time, and also potentially dangerous for some. So we were talking about a high school that does cleans every single day. And I'm thinking, okay, they're doing something. That's good.
Yeah.
Some schools don't even have weight training programs. So I'm like, you know what? You're not the worst. But like, I don't know about you guys, but when I step into Legacy at Carbon every single day I'm in there, which is most days when I'm not traveling, all I'm thinking about is how can I help these kids who are in high school win state? There's one word on my mind, state. My daughter has a state ring. My 10-year-old has a state ring for wrestling AAU, not the same, but still will count it. Nothing is better. I would trade my IFBB Pro card and every trophy I've ever won for a state championship.
Bro, I came in second. It's terrible.
Bro, we didn't even come in the top fucking 6. All right, so here's the deal. So you have a finite amount of time with these kids. And you see most programs, I would say 70% of the ones I saw, if not more, incorporating Olympic lifts into their programming. I'm not adverse to Olympic lifting.
No.
But I also don't use it. And Bryce, why don't we use Olympic? Well, we do use some, and we'll explain that later.
So I think we'll go on kind of the parallel of this, where I love Olympic lifting. I do like doing it if I could, right? Personally.
Yeah, I love it. I used to do these all the time.
Here's the thing is, you brought up the hour, then break down how long it's going to take just to get a kid to learn how to be in the proper position for, we'll just go hang clean. It's not hard, but putting the pieces together to line up the entire kinetic chain of how to do it. That's why it's an Olympic sport.
It's an event. It's literally an event.
Now, we utilize concepts from it. I'll say in the sense of triple extension or quadruple extension, even like the jump shrugs. We use parts of it, but I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to waste time because I know I can get more bang for my buck or the same amount of bang for my buck when I do, speed deadlifts or speed box squats. I'll do high pulls. I can do variations from it, but I'm not going to teach the whole thing because I'm going to end up losing 35 minutes of my day out of that hour, I mean. And that's where being able to use research, being able to use VBT, where I can get the same, as close as possible to the force or power of a clean when it comes to data by doing certain movements with velocity. And that's where we can kind of change our paradigm. And that's where I've changed my paradigm completely over the years of not just solely focusing on it. It's great. It is. But it depends on the time and place and who you have.
Yes.
If I have a 14-year-old that has never touched a barbell in his entire life, I will die before I put him into a clean position. And that's the whole point is there are scales to all this. I'm not saying we don't use it. We can. It's a tool. It's an advantage of a tool. But at the same rate, the tool is the barbell. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is if the tool is the barbell, how can I get kids to do the same thing, just in a safer and more effective.
The outright bar was created for my kids. My kids need a snack to eat during soccer tournaments, and also I wanted a bar for myself to eat pre-workout, post-workout, and also throughout the day. You want your outright bars right now. That's why we have a partnership going with the Vitamin Shop to make sure that we're in all 750 plus locations, providing the best price, the best service, the best people to give you the outright bar when and where you need it. It would take about 4 weeks to properly teach a snatch, to properly teach a clean.
Oh yeah,
to repetitively do it, and also with these high complexity type movements, the more tired you get, the more risk of injury you have, because there's so many parts of the chain that can come apart in the middle of the movement. So I'll ask you a question, Bryce. How long does it take to coach a normal kid? Not like, let's say, AJ or just elite level, right?
Okay.
Not like the lowest level, but like average. How long does it take to coach an average kid to do a hex bar deadlift?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Maybe
less. How long does it take to coach a kid who did a hex bar deadlift perfectly to do a quadruple extension, let's say power deadlift or shrug deadlift?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. Bear with me. In that month, we have been learning form and not able to load. We could have literally gotten their hex bar deadlift from 95 pounds to 315 pounds. That's no exaggeration. We do that every month.
Yep.
We do that every month. Okay. And get this, we'd be a month ahead. The kid be stronger, and data is on our side. The only lift that has been shown to improve your 40-yard dash time, which is awesome, which basically shows your power, explosion, and for most sports where you need speed.
Yep.
Other than baseball, you need 60.
Yeah.
But football, basketball, volleyball, 20 to 40 yards, and it's the hex bar deadlift. So I'm doing a movement that is more scientifically validated, plus has less risk of injury. Because if you've ever watched CrossFit, you've seen some ish happen with those movements. And also, you get a room full of
you have 30.
Man, well, I mean, I'm talking about the test. Like, look at our class this morning. We had like DJ and Jeremiah talking trash to each other,
and
so
Bo.
they're constantly pushing each other to get more and more weight. Okay, and you got Thomas and Bo, and then you got all these like just trash. They're pushing each other because they're athletes and they're awesome and they level up, right? Yep. Especially Jeremiah and DJ have this fantastic dynamic. Yes. Unfortunately, they don't play each other this year.
Yes, but I think.
But what I'm saying is, so when you start doing cleans for weight that you see on Twitter, and it's just like,
oh, that brings up a whole nother thing after this.
You just see a tremendous risk that we don't need to take. Because again, our job is to prevent injury, not create them.
Yep. And I think that's where, and I bet you I've seen, oh my God, it's got to be over thousands of videos of a kid doing a clean, wrists fall in or elbows fall down, knees cave in, back's rounded, doesn't know how to actually get down and decelerate himself, which hence key word there is decelerate. Deceleration. And that's when shit hits the fan. And I'll say it, and I'll say it loudly, and I'll say it proudly. I can do the same thing your coach does, if not better, without using a clean. Now, I do like them.
I like them.
There's time and place, but here's the thing. If you have 70 kids in a weight room and you're trying to teach a clean, it better be synchronized and it better be in line with every single kid down the row. Yes. Because here's the thing. You just open the door for a lot of injury, and I've seen it over the entire, I think I've been doing this 13 years now. The clean, the snatch, if they're done right, they're phenomenal. If they're done wrong, they're detrimental.
We have
a kid with a broken back.
Yeah, we have a kid with a broken back. No, we didn't do it.
No, I didn't do it.
No, it wasn't.
But it's from cleans and snatches. That's the thing all the time.
So we actually witnessed, we go to high schools, we watch their stuff, and they invite us in. And I remember everywhere we go, they're cleaning. And I think we saw probably 40 or 50 athletes clean. I might have seen 2.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Not even good, decent cleans. And the coach was like, no. I'm like, no. We're just standing back there like, oh my God.
Please, his back. So, and that's the thing is like, hey guys, it's more like, hey, I want to get in quadruple extension. I want to learn how to drive force. You can do it during that, but here's the thing. It'll take me 2.5 minutes to get a kid to learn how to produce force.
Here's the deal. I want to see any of these guys produce results we produce. We're cutting seconds off of already fast 40-yard dash times. We're doing it simply, and we're doing it with scientifically validated movements, programmed in a way that makes sense. And again, like with our parents, it used to be, so I used to have a rule, and I got rid of that rule really quick, where after, it was our SOP, our standard operating procedure, after every session, we tell the parents what we did. And then the parents at the end, then after like the 5th time, the parents are like, yo, it's working. We don't care. We're like, all right.
Oh yeah, give me one session. Watch it. I'll prove it today. Give me one session. I will literally tell you verbatim how your kid moves, what's wrong, where we need to focus, and I will put money on it. In 8 weeks, it'll be fixed.
Yeah, like that girl came in with the leg issue, ankle issue.
Yep.
Like I was like, all right,
shoulder, ankle, shoulder, knee, hip.
Well, the way I diagnose it is I basically rehab it. I go in and we do single leg movements, and we do different kind of, balancing movements and different kind of athletic movements. And I could literally, and 90% of the time, if you go to a doctor and you go to me, we'll come to almost the same conclusion.
Yeah.
Like, the reason that's happening is that you're compensating for this, that, and the third, like, or, your knee's hurting, so your ankle's hurting, right? It's not that hard when you've been doing it as long as us. That's why I look at education as a basis, right? Like, we've had interns who have 4-year degrees who half the stuff we do, I've never seen it. And that's because education's great. We like having that base knowledge. Yep. Both of us are educated people, but you learn in the trenches. And it's kind of like when you've been doing it as long as us. So how do you know when someone how do you know how to fix a shoulder? I'm like, I just know what worked with 99% of people I did this with.
And at the end of the day, and it's trial and error.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the amount of times, like, you can diagnose whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Like, here, let's go old school 5x5, 75% West Side barbell. A kid's going to get stronger.
Yeah.
All right, now he's stronger. How do we translate to the field? The whole point of all of this is you can find ways to do everything in a safer, more effective way to get it to translate to directly what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, we have such competitive kids. I think it was today or last week, the day before I left. And it wasn't Thompson, one of our athletes, and he wanted to get more weight, but his form wasn't perfect on the weight he was at. And I'm like, hey, nobody asks you how much you deadlift on the field. Nobody gives a shit. They just care, hey, are you beating the hell out of someone on the field? I want to see – I get so excited. I want to see our kids just rip people's heads off. I want to see dominance. And we spend every waking moment of our day thinking of ways to make our kids superior and dominant in a safe way. And we also – the last thing – again, the worst thing that could happen to us mentally, emotionally, is to see any of our athletes injured. So everything we do is, okay, how do we prevent them from getting injured, not just here, but on the field? So everything we do, the first question is, will this reduce their chance for injury? So people say, well, kids, when they lift weights, they get injured. And I agree with that because I have been to high school weight rooms. I have been to deadlift parties at high school weight rooms where the coach is yelling, look up, where you look, the weight goes, and not even paying attention to neutral spine, which is like the first thing you learn in any program. This guy has a degree. There was at Pacatonia when they brought Pacatonica, when I was helping him. And I'm like, look up. The kid's like, so this kid, will end on this. This kid's deadlifting, and I just walked in. I'm like, bro, so I want you to picture an imaginary object. Here, I put a band on the floor. I'm like, 10 feet in front of you on the ground. I want you to fixate on that. Well, no, coach says, look up when you're doing it. I said, no, he didn't say that. Sure as shit, I look over left. Look up, where you look, the way it goes. And I'm like, I walk over and I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to break this kid's goddamn neck. And he goes, well, that's how we do it. I'm like, and your team hasn't won a game in 4 years.
Oh, well, you wonder why.
So, long story short, yes, parents, you're right. Kids do get injured weightlifting. Kids do get injured training. But that's because a lot of these coaches, and again, if you do the clean with perfect form and your coach, but again, you got 1 to 2 coaches with 30 to 40 football players. They're not going to know about your kid's form. They're going to focus on the top 2 guys on the team who are going D1, who they can write about on their resume. And your kid, if he's even on the bottom of the first team, dude, that kid can snap his spine. They won't care because another kid can step in. That's how the world works, because if you're one coach, you have 30 athletes. That's what happens.
Yep.
Bottom line. Anyway, guys, legacy@carbon.com. Bryce is there all the time. I'm there, I'd like to say 70% of the time.
Yeah.
So we do adult programming and coaching and youth programming and coaching online. The adult program comes with diet. The youth program does too, but most kids do not want to follow it. So we do, even the elitist of the elite athletes, like, I just want pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, we get it. But our programming is amazing. We're doing a lot of things. We're actually working with a lot of big names in the industry and their kids.
Yep. Are crushing it.
Yeah, they're doing, I mean, literally crushing it. Are we allowed to say who he is?
I would assume so.
Yeah, Doug Miller. Doug Miller's kids are crushing it.
It's been fun. And
they're good. They have genetics, obviously.
Yep. And
their arms are this big and they're like 5 years old.
10 and 11.
Yeah, but their arms are 20 inches.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Legacy@carbon.com. Buy your supplements, including Ghost, My Brands, MTS Nutrition, the Outright Bar. Also, I got to mention, you already saw the commercial in this video because we got money to make. Vitamin Shop, every single Vitamin Shop. We have 4 flavors of Outright Bar: cookies and cream, cookie dough, s'mores, and the all new birthday cake. That's not a game. I used to have to go through dozens of bottles of vitamins, of supplements, just to get what I need. Look, I'm busy. I'm running multiple businesses. I'm coaching. I'm a professional bodybuilder getting ready for my first pro show. I don't have time to sit there and do all that. I gotta go. I'm on the go all the time. That is why I created MTS Nutrition Immortal. Here's how they look. All it takes, this replaces dozens of bottles of supplements. So let me tell you exactly what this has. It has probiotics, greens, liver detox, joint support, cardiovascular support, and the most complete multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement ever created. If you have a busy life or you simply want more time to do the things you love and be able to travel by just taking one simple little pack with you, Immortal's for you.